Welcome to 2 Minutes of Torah. This year is entitled, Which Rabbis Would I Sit at a Round Table Discussion? Sounds like a simple question, but it's actually not, and it's very much related to Tisha B'Av and 2,000 years without the Mikdash, Senat Chinam, Senat Chinam. Unbridled hatred can be between one neighbor and another, and fighting over business, fighting over a stroller left out in the chatzer, my cat's in your stroller, your cat's in my stroller. That's petty fights that we have with each other. And sometimes that could be sinah. Then it can be ideological sinah. There's personal sinah, fights between each other. Then there's ideological sinah, where ideologically we can't deal with each other. And causes huge rifts and ruptures, separation between Jews and Jews, Orthodox Jews and Orthodox Jews, Orthodox rabbis and Orthodox rabbis. So what's my criteria? Would I have a rabbinical discussion around the table with a rabbi, someone who's called a rabbi who denies Torah from Sinai? I wouldn't. I might meet with him about a crisis that's going on in the community where the Goyim are attacking our members, Jews in the community. That's something to talk about. But in terms of any religious discussion, no, I'm not going to meet with someone who denies Torah from Shemayim or believes Torah is from Shemayim. But the oral law that's shaky, that develops, keeps changing. There's a historical development of the oral law. No, I'm not going to have a rabbinic discussion with such a rabbi. So what's my criteria? She said, my criteria is Orthodox. Well, how do we define that? So I'll tell you my definition. I think some of my colleagues may have a different definition of who they would sit with. My definition is an Orthodox rabbi regarding who I would sit with is very simple. He believes in the 13 principles of faith, the 13 animamins, and he's anchored in the Shulchan Aruch. We have a code of Jewish law 1,500 years ago written by Rav Yosef Karo, added on with the commentary, the addition of the Ramah. That's our anchor. There might be argument how to learn this one, how to learn that, the Shulchan Aruch and the Ramah in this case, that case, or sometimes the Halacha Shulchan Aruch doesn't discuss a certain case, but that's basically our og and our anchor, the Shulchan Aruch, and the understanding from the Taz and the Shach and the Sma and all the commentaries. And the 13 principles of faith. I know there are those who argue about 13 principles of faith, but we have in every city. Yigdal's in the beginning, Ani Mamins at the end, which is Yigdal's a song of the 13 Ani Mamins. That's more or less the criteria for me. Which means that if there wants to be if there's going to be some rabbinic roundtable discussion, there's going to be a days of different rabbis, there's going to be a Lubavitcher rabbi there. So of course I'm going to sit with him. And if there's a Sama rabbi there, of course I'm going to sit with him. And there's a Hasidish fellow, Gore, Dati Lumi, Yeshivish, Sephardic, Teimani. Of course, I'm going to sit with them to discuss any halachic or shkafic issues together. No one sees a problem of being together on a dais, a round table. It's my zechut. I have my shitas on certain things, and they have their shitas on certain things. We may argue, we may clash, but that's fine. So that's my criteria. I consider pre-open-minded, meaning anyone who has that commitment to Torah, mitzvos, and Nigim Likarim, that's it. You're in for me, as far as I'm concerned. I think some of my colleagues may look at it a little bit differently, where, of course, they will agree. You need to have 13 principles of faith, and you need to go ahead and be anchored in halacha, obviously. But I think some of my dear colleagues, some great rabbis, hold that there's a third element, and that is that the other rabbis around the table have the same basic das Torah as that rabbi has. So the das Torah means what's accepted among your group of Gedolim as the proper das Torah, the proper approach to issue A, B, or C, that you share the same beliefs. And if not, then the other rabbis are sort of chutz lamachaneh, really outside the machaneh, and I can't really have a formal meeting with them and be seen together with photo opportunities. That's not going to work. So, for example, Zionism is still the big issue for centuries now. Other issues come and go. Muslim movement question and Ramchal issue and Hasidim, Misnagdim, that came and it went, but this is still raging. So a person says, my das Torah is Zionism is bad, religious Zionism is bad, you can't work with the Zionists, the whole state is not a good thing, it's not a bracha, it's a klala, and army is bad, you don't join the army. Let's say that's this person's das Torah and that's his belief. So a person has diametrically opposed outlook on that. It's not someone who's a rabbi and has the yeshiva. He's keeping the 13 Ikarim. He's following the Shulchan Aruch. He just has his way of understanding what the role of Advent Torah is in the army. And he has his understanding of how to look at history and the state of Israel. This is the beginning of the Gula, is a great bracha, it's redemption, is a klala. He has his way of looking at it. But we're not inside the 13 principles of faith of the Shulchan Aruch. Yes, but there's a basic Das Torah ideology that's different over here. So for some of my colleagues and some holy rabbis, once a person doesn't subscribe to that ideology that you hold by, then that's it. He's sort of chutz lamachane. So that is not my criteria. For my criteria, even as someone who I disagree with ideologically, but we're anchored in the 13 principles of faith and the Shulchan Aruch, will be my zechut to sit and discuss. Whether it's an issue has to do with ideological difference or nothing. It's about a mikvah in the neighborhood and certain shaylas about this. What time should we let the woman dunk in on Friday after sunset? The ideology is a halachic shayla about a policy. What should we set up in the mikvah? Rav Avadia holds a certain lenient opinion. Rav Mordechai has this or that. Okay. And if it's about that issue, of course, I'm happy to discuss it. It's an ideological question as well. Happy to discuss. So to me, I think it's important to understand the different approaches here to our differences and how different rabbis approach topics differently. To me, with the fondest of memories, I remember the pictures of Rav Soloveitchik, Rav Moshe Feinstein, and Rav Aaron Kotler sitting together. To me, that's my model. They did not have the same hashkafas on certain ideological issues. David Ben-Gurion speaking in YU. Rav Aaron Kotler was very upset about that. YU, Yeshiva University. Rav Aaron was not happy to have a yeshiva with university in it. They argued over that. And therefore what? Of course they could sit together. They're giants. What united them was so much stronger than what divided them. That is my ideology. Respectfully differ from those who have a different approach over here. But I personally think that the ideology of inclusion is really the way to go. And what's going to help bring us to the next chapter. Mitzvah Hashem. In Jewish history. Strong in our opinions, not just giving because you talk to someone else, but talk, have dialogue, and be seen with others, even with different ideologies. Mitzvah Hashem, that will bring us to the next step in Jewish history and to the Gulash.